Okay, hey everybody. I was trying to do something today where I had my microphone and my new webcam going, and the microphone decided to crap out. So even despite the fact that I bought a new cord for it, I'm using my iPhone again today because I've got a movie to talk about today, and yeah, I had something in my plans. I said I'm going to do it, and I'm doing it. I don't care if I don't have the right equipment right now. You know, things happen. I think Mercury's in retrograde right now, so whatever. Before we get started, one of the things I wanted to mention was that I had some people that are like giving me tips on ASMR. So I thought I should probably try to make it clear that you know one, I'm doing this for comedy purposes more so than ASMR. Two, I appreciate the tips. Three, however, I have been watching ASMR for years. I know how it works. I know how to make it good. I'm less concerned about that and more about just talking about movies because that's where my real passion lies. So if that's a problem for you, there are literally thousands and thousands of ASMR videos that you can watch at any given time. So if this is not for you, then move on. That's fine. And if you do like it, great. Um, but I just wanted to make that known because, yeah, I know it's not like the best ASMR, but I've seen people on Reddit being like, I wish we could go back to the old days where um, ASMR was just like real and raw, and people weren't trying to put on this whole production and doing all these kinds of things that nobody really responds to that well. They just see it on YouTube and think, oh, well, that works. I've listened to a lot of ASMR and I know it works for me. My style is basically soft talking. I try to whisper here and there as well. But ultimately, yeah, I'm here to entertain, not give you relaxation. But if you are relaxed, then that's a bonus for me. So, I mean, I would love to do both. And I think in the future, when I get all the right equipment, that'll definitely be a possibility. But in the meantime, that's kind of where I'm at right now. So, today on Bad Movie ASMR, thank you for tuning in. We are doing a movie called Truth or Dare. I don't know very much about this movie. I feel like it got like a pretty wide release because I've heard of it at some point, but I don't know. I don't know. It's a Blumhouse production. They do all the horror movies like Insidious and Sinister, and then like all those like things they do on Hulu for special occasions. Um, it's a Blumhouse production and a Universal distribution. But I found this on HBO Go. I just realized I have this thing behind me that I was gonna put on. I don't. I always forget to give like credit to people. I looked up Creative Commons in hopes I could use this. This showed up. If it's not, someone let me know. But if not, let me give a shout out to Kalimbo CZ for this. Oh. And you thought you were going to bed. Okay. So anyway, this movie has a runtime of an hour and 40 minutes, and I probably had to pause it like 7 times just to get through it. It's not a good movie, and I think on Rotten Tomatoes it got like a really bad score too. It was like 23% or something like that. It was not well recognized or well reviewed, I guess. So we open on, yeah, we're gonna dive right in. So we open on this shitty car, and it's like in Mexico, and like there's this girl who's like wearing a like kind of her jacket with like a little hood and like kind of trying to be discreet, but the way she's doing it, it's like, okay, like you're standing out because, sorry, am I getting my thing? You're standing out because nobody else is wearing a jacket like that. Okay. And we can still see your face, so the cameras can too. But anyway, she asked for like a pack of cigarettes. She's got like a bruise on her forehead, and she's like kind of rude to the cashier. And you're like, what's going on? Well, then the cashier like turns like evil all of a sudden, even though he's like really nice at first. And he's like, truth or dare. And I guess in response to this, there's another woman, innocent woman, shopping there at this little convenience store in Mexico, and this girl in the hoodie just like sets this other woman on fire. She goes running out in flames. It's pretty crazy. Then we get like, the title sequence, Truth or Dare. So before we get into like, the story, I have to say like, this movie got really terrible reviews, but I didn't hate it. I didn't like it at all either, but I think one of the problems this movie suffered from the most was that it had too much packed into it, where they were trying to like have like a twist at every turn, but it became like so like predictable. Like, yeah, there's gonna be another twist, another twist, another twist. The movie didn't like guide you along to be like really surprised by like a big twist. It was just all these like small twists put together that didn't really amount to like what could have been like one big twist. So that was kind of unfortunate, at least in my opinion. That's how I saw it. So yeah. Okay, so we cut to Olivia, the main character. She's pretty, and she's like YouTubing about Habitat for Humanity and what she's doing with them. And her best friend Marky walks in, and is kind of like, "You're going to spring break with us, right?" And Olivia's like, "No, I'm doing this thing for Habitat for Humanity instead. I can't go." And Marky's like, "Well, the joke's on you. I called Habitat for Humanity and told them you have shingles, so you can't go." And she's like, "Why would you do that? I really, like, this is important to me." Apparently not important enough, because like her friend doing this was enough for her to actually be like, "Screw it, I'm gonna go on spring break." And I think it's like their last year of college or something like that. And so they have some friends that join on the trip, and so Lucas is one of the friends who is the boyfriend of Marky, the best friend. And what else? Blah blah blah. So yeah, Lucas and Marky are a couple, but there's like this moment where Olivia like Lucas is packing up, the SUV or whatever they're driving, and Olivia hands him her baggage, and as she does, there's like, it almost like slows down for just a split second, so you can see that there's a spark between them, despite the fact that he's dating her best friend. So anyway, they're off to Mexico, and then they're Instagramming and YouTubing and Snapchatting everything, and typical college kids. And the other guy that's with them is gay, because they go to like a bar once they get to Mexico. And I don't know if the writer knows how gay people work or not, but because they're in Mexico at a straight bar, and the other guy's like the gay guy's talking to his friends, and then like makes eyes with a stranger on the dance floor for like half a second, and then just like randomly walks up to him and they start making out on the dance floor. Might happen at a gay bar, but not a straight bar in Mexico. And I'm not saying Mexico's homophobic, because Mexico City actually legalized gay marriage before the United States did. So I'm just saying, like, usually dudes don't go up to each other like that at a straight bar in a foreign place. And for all I know, the other guy is from Mexico, but it was just like, okay, this is strange. Thank you for the inclusion, but you don't know what you're talking about. So yeah, Marky is like drunk AF, and I'm trying to like stay in the shot here. Sorry, I just filming on my iPhone's such a pain in the ass. Okay, so Marky is drunk AF, and she's dancing with a stranger and crying about it. and then like making out in the lap of Lucas like a second later. So she's just like drunk and crying and making out with anyone who will give us attention, which, I can't really judge her. I've been there more times than I can count. So I'm gonna try to get through this quick too because so much happens in the movie. I was not planning to write this many notes, but like I said before, it's like twist, twist, twist. So if I'm talking too fast, consider this a ramble ASMR. Okay, so let me find where I'm at. Again, my notes are always just like a total mess, so it's kind of hard for me to keep up. But I'm a pen on paper guy at the end of the day. I like just writing things down. Let's see. So Olivia runs into this like guy named Ronnie, and he's like a total like creep nerd. Meanwhile, like Lucas is kind of like a cute nerd. So yeah, Olivia runs into Ronnie, and oh wait, no. Okay, so Lucas is cute, but he's not the cute nerd. There's some other guy there who's a cute nerd, and he threatens to punch Ronnie when he sees that like Olivia's like, yeah, no, thanks, and this other guy's like, let me swoop in and save the day, kind of thing. So, threatens to punch him, and then that turns Olivia on, and this guy's name is Carter, and he seems like bad news from the start, just from like the look on his face. And I wrote like in all caps like too suave. Like I wouldn't trust this guy. He's got like a sociopathic look to his face, even more so than I do. And one of the things I also noted was like, okay, Olivia and Marky, best friends forever, apparently, according to this movie. Don't ever see eye to eye. For this whole movie, they've been kind of like bickering and arguing and disagreeing. So I'm like, why are you guys even friends? So I have a feeling like after they graduate college, assuming they live, they're not going to be friends anymore. I just don't see it happening. I think they're, growing up and changing. One of them wants to do Habitat for Humanity. The other one, wants to be on the real world, Cancun or something. So anyway, like Carter's like, hey, like they're like, let's get out of here, let's go somewhere else and like, explore. We're in different countries, it'll be fun. And Carter like suggests going to like some old place that's like abandoned and they're breaking in. We're not entirely sure where they're going. It's creepy, especially if you're in a foreign country and you don't know this person and you don't know where you're going. And at Carter's recommendation, he's just like, no, it's great, it's great. So they go along because Olivia's turned on by the fact that he like got some other guy to, go away. And so Olivia's like Snapchatting like a photo of a priest and a nun, and she's walking around this place like by herself. Like they just got there, and she's like walking around by herself. So okay. She's apparently drunk enough, I would assume, even though she doesn't seem drunk. Drunk enough to be like not caring about her surroundings when really you could be shot at any moment for all we know. We don't know. You don't know where you're at. So, oh, and then I wrote, ew, Ron followed them. So I guess Ron is such a creep that he actually like follows people. And everyone's like wants to leave because the whole vibe's creepy. But Carter's like, no, let's play truth or dare. Because we're in third grade, apparently. Like, honestly, like, do college kids play truth or dare still? Like, I don't think I've played truth or dare since sixth grade. I don't know, but people mature at different levels. So, yeah. So everyone's leave. Carter's like truth or dare, and that convinces them to stay somehow magically because the script's got to go somewhere. So, yeah, they're drinking a lot of beer, and their gay friend asks a question. He's like chose first. He gets the truth, and no. He's the one to go first to ask somebody else, and the person who responds to him is like truth, and he asks back like a very innocent question about aliens, and like a moral dilemma. Like, would you save the world or your friends only if you had to choose? If the aliens gave you the choice of saving the world or your friends? Okay. What grade are we in again? Okay. And then Ronnie is dared to give Tyson a lap dance, and I think Tyson is the gay guy. Yeah, we finally got his name. Um, and like, so whatever, there's like a streaking nakedness thing that happens, and then Tyson's like, Marky, are you aware that Olivia is in love with Lucas? So that's when shit gets real, because they had that weird like handoff with the bags earlier. And I was like, oh no, she didn't. And so was everyone else, like, in the movie. Like, why did he ask that? Like, that's something you don't ask even when you're playing a game, because like they all kind of know, but it's like, this is gonna start some drama here. So Olivia gets mad and kind of like retaliates by being like, why don't you stop selling illegal prescriptions to underclassmen? I assume she's talking about like Adderall or something. I don't know. That's what college kids take. And I wrote, it's getting personnel. It's not getting personal, it's getting personnel. Okay. Personnel. Personnel. That's how serious it is. Okay, so there's this girl, Penelope, and she's the girl who I think she was the girl from the beginning of the movie, but I think I'm wrong about that. I don't know. They look very similar. But Penelope is like one of the friends that's there, and sorry, my dog is running on. Penelope's one of the friends there, and she gets dared to make out with Olivia by Ronnie, because of course Ronnie's like, yeah, make out. And he even's like, this is tight. From what I recall, this movie actually came out in the last few years, according to HBO Go. So I remember people saying tight when I was in high school, and that was like the early 2000s. So do people still say that? I don't think so. So okay, but I mean, I guess it kind of like speaks to who Ronnie is. He's a nerd. Like, he's just stupid. And then Penelope gets her turn and she gives the truth to Carson. And she's like, why are we here? So he tells the truth. And when I say he tells the truth, he tells the truth. Like, he goes like, you have to die for me to live. And basically explains like they're playing a cursed game of truth or dare that his friends were involved in, and he has to pass it along. Kind of. That's, he doesn't say that in like so many words, but like that's kind of the general gist that we get from like, he's like dead serious. Like, yeah, it's your turn now. You got to play truth or dare. And in doing so, like, I'm off the hook. And he's like, you all have to play do it or die. Vote or die. Actually, no. Yeah, okay, so back on campus later, they made the gay guy's name really hard to remember. I think his name is Brad, and his last name is Chang. But anyway, they don't really tell you until like way later into the movie, so it gets confusing because I was watching with subtitles and I didn't see it anymore. So whatever, there's people there. And then let's call him Brad for now. Brad's like, being gay is hard because my dad doesn't approve, and Olivia is talking to him, but like, being the narcissist that she is as the protagonist, she turns it around about herself, like, well, I don't know where I stand with Marky right now. It's like, okay, you're having a squabble with your BFF, and you have another guy saying like, my relationship with my father could be forever severed. Marinate on that. Okay. And there's like this like Dawson's Creek style score that's playing, not like the opening theme by Paula Cole, but like just the cheesy WB '90s like teenage score that you would hear on Dawson's Creek. It felt like kind of out of time and not appropriate for this movie, personally. Um, Yeah, so that happens, and then at home, Tyson's like, "I'm sorry. Anyway, I wrote you a sorry prescription." So he really does like he means like not a sorry prescription, but like an "I'm sorry" prescription. Uh, and so I guess like what Olivia said or whatever was true. So you know, the college kids love their Adderall. I never went to college. I went to a trade school, but I didn't go to college. I went to a film school that was specifically for film. As you can see, how great I am at filming all of this. This is just something I do for fun, honestly, you guys. It's something that keeps me busy and lets me just do other things. Because I have a podcast, I have a band. I do all kinds of stuff. Like my therapist even watches these videos, and he's like, "You are a multimedia conglomerate." So I'm like, "Yeah, I'll take that." um, so anyway, Olivia finds a truth or dare flyer in her bedroom, and there's like a guy on a motorcycle outside, like looking up at her, like through the window. And we discover at that point that Marky probably lost her dad. And oh yeah, so Marky's like kind of like reminiscing over this video of her dad making fish, and we kind of realize like he must be dead because she's the way she's watching it. It's like he's no longer with us. You just know immediately. So kudos to the director for being able to convey that without actually like spelling it all out for us. Which I mean, she talks about it a little, I think, later, but either way, it was that part was well done. And Marky's like, my dad killed himself, and Olivia again, all about Olivia. She must be like a Leo, because she's just like, I'm not into Lucas, like shortly thereafter, and it turns into that, like, cheers, Olivia. Like, we're not talking about that right now. Like, yeah, you're screwing over your fucking best friend's boyfriend. Oh, by the way, someone else commented saying like, "Don't cuss, it's not relaxing." I cuss, so if you don't like cussing, get the fuck out of here. Anyway, yeah. So now Olivia's car gets keyed, and it says like "Truth or Dare" on it, and she runs up to Ronnie because she thinks Ronnie did it, and she's like, "How dare you, Ronnie?" And he's like, I don't see it. Like I can't see what you're talking about. So like Olivia's view sees truth or dare written into her car, but Ronnie just sees a regular car. So like, is she having some kind of like a psychological delusion, or is there something paranormal happening, or is this guy just lying? Those are the questions that kind of come up in the audience head. Um, And then okay, so then she's in the library or whatever, and she's like, just casually browsing the library at school. And then all of a sudden, like, it turns into, after this confrontation with Ronnie, to people like looking at her and being like, truth or dare, truth or dare, truth or dare. And it keeps getting like louder and louder and louder. And their faces look like they, everyone's faces like turn and they look like evil, like, but it's like a weird evil. It's like a Hollywood evil almost, because like everyone just looks like super plastic surgery, and their like faces are lifted up as high as the sky, and they got like tons of like lip injections, and they're like, but like big smiles at the same time, like Joker smiles with like lip injections that like Lana Del Rey couldn't even touch. On top of this, so it's just like the Real Housewives of Truth or Dare, and their Botox, there's face work going on, and so she's like truth, cause, and then and so she gets her truth, and is forced to do it, and because everyone in the library is like freaking her out. And Olivia shouts out that Marky is cheating on Lucas constantly. Back to life, back to reality. Everyone in the library just like turns and looks at her as if like all the chanting and stuff never happened. And it's just very strange. So all of a sudden, like what she thought was realism. So that happens. And then, bad timing. Margie and Lucas are actually in the library when this happens. She doesn't see them, and they storm out. So um, later, wait, who is R? Ronnie. Okay, later I wrote people's names with like initials because there were just too many characters. I'm like, what is this? The witching hour? Anyway, later, Ronnie propositions this girl for sex, and her eyes kind of like turn and like flush like reddish, like a red color, and she's like, truth or dare. So, like, seemingly normal people all of a sudden just become like possessed by something that I think only the person who's in the game can see, and the person who's doing the truth or dare is blacked out and doesn't know what's happening. That's what I was able to gather from it. But, um, so let's see here. Yeah, Ronnie she dares him to like show his dick in front of everyone like at a pool hall. So he gets on top of like a pool table and slips on an 8 ball. And of all balls to slip on the 8 ball. You cokeheads know what I'm talking about. I don't do it anymore, but I had a day in my time. Let me tell you. Um, I'm in my 30s now. I'm way too old for that shit. All of the people I was doing it with back then were in their 30s. I hope they're okay now. And if any of you guys are watching this, please stop doing it, please, because like I was young and you were not. Seeing it from the age that you were, that I am now, like, oh, honey, let's get that together. And I'm saying this as someone who really just, I love these people. I want the best for them, but I also don't want to tell them what to do. So that got kind of serious for a second. Sorry. I just got off work not too long ago. So I'm still like in kind of go mode. I was like, I gotta get this done now. I don't care if the microphone's not working. I just got home. I just want to get it done. So we're doing it. So let me find my place in my notes where I left off. Okay. So yeah, as he's like falling off the pool table after like slipping on an 8 ball, he's between like the ends of two pool tables, and the way he falls off, it like snaps his body in half. Like, so he's like got like kind of like a face upward on one pool table and like his feet up on the other one, and he's just like split in the middle, kind of. Next time, do some yoga. So, that happens to Ronnie, which I mean, he was kind of the first person that we wanted to see die anyway, so it's not that big of a deal. But this gets YouTubed, and the rest of the friends see this dare on YouTube. And Olivia's like, "This is real, you guys." And like, Lucas is like, "I'm leaving. This is crazy." And then he gets truth or dared. I'm going to start referring to the verb truth or dared. That's kind of what happens in the movie, T or deed. And then like he's like walking, he hears like his voice being called. There's like a spray painting on the wall that says like truth or dare, and like a demonic voice that he's hearing, and his muscles are like, like his muscles and veins are just like pumping, like kind of like a weird evilish, like just from the inside. So it's really creepy. And then he calls Olivia, like, okay, this is real. And Olivia's like, that's what I've been trying to tell you. So, take a moment here to readjust. It's been a long day, you guys. So, as I'm sure it has been for you, if you're listening to ASMR, it's probably been a long day for you too. So, Thanks for tuning in. Um, so yeah, uh, Lucas is, into it now, and he's like, it's for real, and then and he gets forced with the truth while he's out and about on his own, and the truth that he says is, I want Olivia over Marky, and as a reminder, Olivia's the main character, and Marky's his girlfriend, the best friend of the main character. So I wrote, okay, it's Final Destination, but based on when they were originally playing, like the order that they played the game or something like that. It's the same concept as Final Destination. Like it kind of like picks people out one by one, and then if one of them dies, it goes to the next one. Um, and I will say, I actually really loved the first Final Destination. Even the sequel had its moments. I can't say anything about the rest of the franchise, but I will say they had some very unique original deaths in those movies, so uh, that's cool. The first one was the best one. Wasn't like who was the main character? Was it Devon Sawa? I think it was. Jeez, whatever happened to that guy? Um, so the crew's like, we're gonna play this, and Marky's reluctant, and then they get a text of truth or dare, and I think it's Marky who like gets dared to break Olivia's hand, and she takes a hammer, and she's reluctant to because she's not like mad about the fact that her boyfriend's into Olivia necessarily. I mean, she's mad, but like not mad enough to take a hammer to someone's hand and beat the shit out of it. So, uh, she's reluctant, but Olivia's like, just do it. We have to. It's part of the game. Like, just break my hand. I deserve it. And Mark's like, oh. And everyone like kind of runs off because they're like, what? And so like, Brad and Lucas go to the hospital with Olivia, who also gets called like Liv in this movie, which confused me more. So Olivia, I'm just gonna call her Olivia because that sounds better than Liv. She's not Liv Tyler. And then Brad gets truth or dared at like a vending machine at the hospital. And while, Olivia's getting her broken hand checked after Marky smashed the shit out of it with a hammer. And the snack gets stuck. Of course it does. Like, what else do you show a vending machine in a movie unless the snack actually gets stuck? And the reflection of the glass, you can see like behind him as he's like looking at his reflection in the glass. There's like a scary old man who's like a patient from the hospital who's probably like passed away and he's like dead and stuff. And it's this part's actually spooky. I will say this movie did not scare me except for this part. This part, like if I like just and like the reflection's always such a cliche, but the way they made this guy look, it worked for me. So I liked that. It spooked me out. And so this guy's like, truth or dare, and Brad yells at him, truth. And then he sees like a cop or like a security person for the hospital or something like that. And the security slash cop is like, why are you here? And it turns out this is Brad's dad. And then Brad's dad turns evil, and he chooses truth, and this forces Brad to tell his dad that he's gay, which we had discussed earlier. So he goes to like relay this to Olivia later, and he was like, my dad was totally okay with it, like everything worked out, like great. And Olivia, being Olivia, is like, great, now Tyson's next. She doesn't give a shit about anyone. Like, I wish Olivia was the one who gets killed because she's so like unconcerned with anybody besides like herself. I fuck Olivia. Anyway, so Tyson's at like an interview at like med school, and the gang like runs to interrupt the interview, like as it's happening. And then, we kind of get like some shots where the timing is off, so we're not sure like if they're gonna make it in time and where they are in the interview and where they are in getting to the interview. Um, and so the gang runs to like interrupt the interview, and but before they do, like the interviewer is like, "Mr. Curran, one final question," and we don't really find out if he gets a truth or a dare in that process because we know the guy's turned evil and he's gonna be like, "Oh." So it's too late for the gang, and as he's well, okay, so like what's his, fuck, Travis, Trevor, the guy whose name starts with a T that I completely lost, Tyson. Tyson is he's coming out of the interview as like his friends are arriving, and as he's walking out the interview, he says, "Mr. Curran, one final question," and then he walks back in. And the way that he walks back in is very much, it reminds me of that movie, The Faculty, which is a great movie. I'm assuming you've seen it. If you haven't, go watch The Faculty. It's from 1999. Kevin Williamson wrote it. Robert Rodriguez directed. I think Elijah Wood is the protagonist, and it has like one of the best like horror sci-fi alien stories ever for like high school teenage horror in like the late 90s. And but yeah, the way they did the shot, it was completely inspired by The Faculty. At least that's what I got from it, because it just had the same kind of like pull in as that was happening. Um, mm, and he's like, don't forget your bag or whatever. So Tyson lies about the truth, and he was asked about forging prescriptions, and he lies about it. Then he turns evil while I wrote she returns normal. I guess it's the interviewer. So because he lied, the possession went away from the interviewer and then into Tyson. And so Tyson, now being possessed, stabs himself in the eye with like, I think it's a pin. It's not quite clear, but he's just like, and oh, then he starts like ramming his head into the door and dies. Like it's crazy. It happens really fast. I'm gonna take her break right here so I can go pee. I'll be right back. And we're back. Okay. So after Tyson dies, Penelope is like sneaking drinks behind everyone's back. I think she has an alcohol problem, and the gang sees on the internet that this woman from the beginning, who isn't Penelope, I just thought they looked alike, but I was wrong, was connected to these friends at the beginning that we saw in Mexico. And Penelope is vomiting in the toilet and not having a good time, obviously. And she looks in the mirror and like sees like an evil reflection of herself with that same crazy, you know, they all do it whenever they turn evil. They always get like a kind of a Joker slash Joan Rivers thing going on. And like, and don't take that the wrong way. I love Joan Rivers. She's my idol. So yeah, that's happening, and truth or dare, the reflections, and doing that, and then we kind of got to the best friends forever, Marky and Olivia, who are continuing to fight throughout this whole movie. I don't know why they're best friends. Just stop it, okay? And then back to Penelope, who's like on the rooftop now, and she's just drinking straight out of the bottle. Been there, done that, and then she's on like a small two-story, okay? But the dare is like jumping off the roof that she gets, and it's kind of like, okay, well, it's a small two-story, so it's like you're not gonna die. You might break something or fracture something, but you're not gonna die jumping from this level. So I wish they had gotten kind of like a larger location, but whatever, they didn't do that. And then so the crew's like, desperately trying to like, they found a mattress, I don't know, like in the trash or something, and like they're trying to like move it around to wherever she's at. And the scene goes on for like a long time. Um, So the crew tries to kind of like cheat death, as they do in Final Destination, by putting the mattress below her so that when she does jump off, there's something cushiony to catch her. So she jumps off, lands on the mattress, lives, and then like vomits. Well, she vomited on the roof and then she vomits a second time when she lands on the mattress. So I think at this point, it's time to start drinking some Pedialyte and maybe looking into, AA or therapy or something like that. And so after that happens, Olivia's like, I got a Facebook message from Giselle, and Giselle turns out to be the lady who got lit on fire at the beginning of the movie. And I don't know how, like, Giselle found Olivia or Olivia found Giselle. I may have been writing notes when this happened and just dismissed it, but I don't. It happens, so whatever. They all go, and then Giselle reveals to them that if two truths are asked, then the third one has to be a dare. Like it's part of the ingrained ancient rules of truth or dare, according to the demons or whatever that are conspiring. And she tells them like Carter was my friend. Carter was the guy who got them into this mess. The game is real, and she seems to be going kind of mad as a result of this. And it's weird because okay, so Carter was dared to get a new group to play at the end of whenever it came to his turn. And for some reason though, Giselle's like, the shorter you guys live, the faster I can escape the game. But I'm like, in my mind, I'm like, okay, well, that doesn't make sense because if Carter's still part of the game and you're still part of the game, if these people die, then it goes back to you and Carter, right? Like, that's what I would imagine. So I'm like, should we be keeping these people like alive as long as we can? Don't get it. Because I'm like, you don't want it coming back to you sooner than later. Maybe I missed something, and it's entirely possible that I missed something. Because I'm like writing as I'm watching these things, and because it's bad movies, I'm not gonna watch it twice. I'm not doing that. Sorry, I keep shaking the fucking table. So then, like, Giselle shoots Penelope, and then Penelope turns evil with the same, and kind of like shoots herself. Not kind of like, she does shoot herself, which leaves Olivia, Tyson, Brad, and Marky as the remaining survivors in this horrible game of truth or dare. Olivia decides to seek out a detective because she's like, I don't know. And the detective's like, and he's got like a theory based on like, he's like, well, just what we know of is that, because I mean, obviously cops aren't going to like pursue paranormal theories. The detective is like, Giselle, we think Giselle knocked all these people off and is the culprit, and now you're telling us your friends are dying? Like, so now we're starting to think it's you and Giselle. So that kind of backfires. And then, I don't know, they're prompted to find like this like old mission from 1876 because someone said so. I can't remember who. And then Olivia gets attacked by this guy from earlier, the guy who was on the motorcycle outside the window, and he's like, truth or dare. And Lucas and Marky like save her, but in the meantime, she got dared to fuck Lucas. So as you can imagine, I'm sure that Marky's feeling real great about this right now. And so Olivia chose a dare on purpose, so she, like at first you think like, oh, she's doing the noble thing by choosing the dare so that everyone else can get the truths and not have to do the dares, because the dares are where things get kind of spotty. And so at first you think it's like this, like, oh, she's doing it, but no. O chooses the dare on purpose. Olivia chooses to do this so she could fuck Lucas. Lucas is like, yeah, buddy, because he's into her too. So they're both backstabbers, even in the midst of all of this. I'm sorry this is so long. I'm literally trying to do this as fast as I can, but this movie was packed with way too much and not enough like suspense to make it interesting. But anyway, while Olivia's fucking Lucas, she strangles Lucas. They're doing it, and all of a sudden she's like, and he's like, truth, and she's like, who are you truly in love with? And he says, Marky. And it is the truth, despite what he said earlier. Because earlier he was like, Olivia's the one. So he lied. So I don't know why he hasn't died. Because, or wait, did he lie now? Well, let's see what happens. Marky's watching her video of her dad from earlier, like where she just like needs like comfort of reminiscing from her dad's memory, who's dead now, and but then the video turns into her dad being like, sorry, I'm playing with my hair, but it's getting so long right now, I don't know what to do with it. The dad on the video turns into like, oh, truth or dare, and she's like, truth, and he asks her, why do you keep the gun I used on myself? That's so yeah, shit just got dark. And she replies, sometimes I think I should kill myself. And he's like, do it. And this is dark. So that part was pretty spooky. And anyway, we cut to like Olivia and Lucas going to like some shack to visit a woman named Inez. And so Inez, she was the one who originally lit the fire that I confused with Penelope. So she lit the fire on Giselle and was the one who's, yeah, so, and they're like, actually, they go to visit her, but they ended up getting met by, okay, I'm just gonna read you my notes because I have no idea what the fuck happens here. Granddaughter is like, she hasn't spoken a word in 50 years. And then Inez slash Mrs. Reyes writes a note for them. So there's an older woman there related to her that's writing a note because she can't speak. And basically the note says, like, we were all molested by a priest at a convent. And one of the girls there used witchery to summon a demon called Calix, like Calux. And this demon was meant to kill the priest, stop the molestation. So like this movie's going all over the place. I'm like, do we really need to add like Catholic molestation to everything else that's going on? Okay, fine, I'll go with it. I'm here for the movie. So, and this demon like started a game after he was summoned. So Inez gives them a ritual that can make the demon go away. Where was this ritual earlier, Inez? But it involves that Inez sacrifice her own tongue because, surprise, she's the one who summoned the demon. Okay, now it all comes together. Like, Inez is the one responsible for summoning it. In order to get rid of it, she's got to cut her own tongue out. That's why she hasn't spoken for 50 years. So, all the gang of people who are still living are back together, and it's starting to feel kind of like an MTV series. Like, at this point, it's not even feeling like a movie. I feel like I'm watching an episodic thing that's just fit into a movie. It doesn't go any further. Like, it kind of reminded me of like the Scream series on MTV. Like, I love the Scream franchise, like the movies, and I even thought the first 2 seasons of Scream on MTV were pretty decent considering the network and that sort of thing. Season 3 though I saw on Netflix and I was like, this is absolute fucking bullshit. Just because you put people of color into something doesn't make it good. The writing is just terrible. So that happens, and yeah. So I don't know. Cancel it. And so then they're like, we have to get Sam, and I wrote in parentheses like, who? I don't know what I missed. And so apparently this person Sam has to cut out. He has his tongue as the sacrifice. And then like later, Brad's dad, who's the cop, is like, "What's up with your friend's murder?" Like, like questioning him because I heard about all this stuff that's going on. Then he gets all evil and Truth or dares him. That's what happens in every fucking scene. So it becomes very repetitive. It's like truth or dare, truth or dare, truth or dare. Like you're not surprised when someone turns evil and asks the truth or dare at this point. So it's not even fun because you're just like waiting for it to happen at this point. And then so Brad gets dared because he's apparently the third in the lineup according to how this mythology works. And the dare is to shoot his dad with his own gun. Shoot dad with dad's gun because dad's like the cop. So he goes to do that, do the dare, reluctantly in order to live. But then another cop shows up and then he like shoots Brad. And then it becomes Olivia's turn. And Lucas turns and it's like truth or dare. So it's happening so much at this point that it's like kind of annoying, and this is why this movie is not working. Even I'm just getting tired of reading these pages, so I'm gonna start zipping through here even faster. So Lucas is like, okay, so yeah, Olivia's like, sorry, I'm trying to go faster. Okay, it's Olivia's turn. Lucas turns and evil does truth or dare, and Lucas is like, tell Marky, your best friend, your scariest secret. And Marky tells Olivia, I was there when your dad killed himself. And he was an alcoholic. He was fired from his job, and he had tried to take advantage of her. And she said, let's keep it a secret and forget everything. But she's mad even though like the dad is like a near rapist, and yeah, so I mean, if he took advantage of you, that's a huge thing for sure. So again, like this movie deals with very serious subjects, but I feel like the movie itself is so nonsensical that it makes these serious subjects like not applicable. It's just like, don't put this in a movie where it's not needed. I don't know. It's like, are we trying to add like shock value for the sake of it here? I don't know. Whatever. I wrote JFC, which I'm sure many of you know what stands for Jesus fucking Christ. So Olivia sees the detective again, and he tells her like, "You're still wrong about the order of this game. Sam is still alive, but the pick of the Sam is Carter." So we find out like the person that we've been hearing his name Sam is actually Carter. So the names have changed. Same person. Sam is his original name, and I think Carter is like his other name. So Giselle must have accidentally used Carter's real name Sam when she was talking about him to Olivia. So Olivia runs over to see Marky, who has a gun at her face forward. She's like, and then Olivia talks her out of suicide by saying she's found Carter / Sam. And so we get back to Sam's, and he's like, I just wrote, he's like a roach in a tinfoil apartment, because that's what I'm saying. And I don't know if he's like waiting things out or if he's just like methed out. It definitely kind of gave me. There was some movie back in the day with like Ashley Judd, I think, where they like did their whole like motel and like tinfoil and stuff like that. But if it had like a methy, like paranoia, like tinfoil feel. And yeah, so I guess he's just trying to stay alive or something at this point. And then the survivors now are Olivia, Tyson, and Marky, and they're like, let's go to the mission and end this. Let's go to the mission and end this. So they all go back. And what I originally thought was like a haunted house at the beginning is this mission that we saw, the dark place that they broke into after they left the bar. And we're at the last 10 minutes of the movie now. And I haven't really been truly scared once. And that's what makes this movie such a shucks kind of thing. Because, like, there's so much here. If only you could have honed it into something, you know. And if people who worked on this movie see this, then, you know, I'm sure you did your best. I'm not, like, shitting on you personally. You know, it takes a village. I'm just saying this is how I felt about it. So it's not against any one person. And so the acting is it's okay. It's not the best, not the worst. And I guess at this point I'm getting really long because this is more of my notes are. I'm like, this feels long, and apparently there's an extended version because when I was on HBO Go, there was like the regular version, which is the one that I watched, and then there was also an extended cut. And I just went to the regular one because I assumed that's the one people saw in theater. Maybe the extended cut kind of like makes things flow a little bit better, but in my experience, if things are extended, like the director's cut, like a lot of the time, like it still doesn't necessarily work. So I don't know. I don't know how to feel about that. I feel like this movie tells you everything you should know. I'm not missing much unless I'm like writing things down, not paying attention, but who knows? Okay, so mind you, this is the climax of the movie, and it's not feeling like it. So that's how I feel. And so Sam is being forced to say like some Spanish ritual back at like the scary mission that looks like a haunted house, and Elle is like, wait, oh yeah, Lucas is like, I gotta go, it's my dare again. I can't choose which one of you to kill. So apparently that's his dare, because he has to choose which one of them to kill. And I wrote in parentheses, me neither, because I mean, like, they're equally killable in terms of, like, character development. There's something that special about either any of the characters where you're like, you want to hold on to one more than the other. So, and then Marky and Lucas make out, of course. And then I wrote, Lucas turns evil. Olivia tells Carter slash Sam to cut his tongue out at gunpoint. Now we're on the last page. Don't worry, guys, we're almost done. So Lucas kills Sam slash Carter first and then dies himself. Then Olivia and Marcus are like, fuck, we're next. So Olivia's like, choose dare. Like, trust me, sorry about your BF. Anyway, the dare turns to Marky, and the dare is shoot Olivia. So Marky turns evil, and Olivia's like, gotcha, Demon Calyx. I guess she somehow, like, knew that this Demon Calyx would possess Marky or something. I don't know how she... I don't know. Truth, how do we get alive? And the answer is, find new people to play, which is kind of how they got into this in the beginning, so... So Marky turns back to normal after being possessed by Calux, Calyx. And then, later on, Olivia YouTubes about her Truth or Dare experience. And in doing so, she makes this video go viral. And then all of a sudden, like, I guess anyone who watches the video and attempts to engage in a game of Truth or Dare based on this video is now part of the game. So Death is choosing people who watch the video on YouTube. LOL. Cue credits. That's the end of the movie. I'm sorry, but what? That's just stupid. I'm sorry. I can't. I can't deal with that. Um, but they do play like a really cool new disco song that I shazammed. It's called "Champion of Love" by Nissa. Oh my god, my hair. It's called "Champion of Love" by Nissa. Nyssa. It's a good song. And then at the very end of the credits, Calyx, the demon, has a voiceover, and it's very cheesy, and he just goes, "Truth or dare," Mwahahaha. And then that's the end of the movie. So hope you guys enjoyed Truth or Dare, and I did not like this movie, but it's not one of the worst ones I've seen. I just feel like they just should have. It had potential. They just should have like pieced it together better. Um, and I think they got a little like too like caught up on certain details and then ignored other details in the meantime. So that's how I felt about it. But you know, if you want to watch it, it's on HBO Go, HBO Now, and I'm sure it's probably like on iTunes and those sorts of things too. Just Google it and you'll find it. So anyway, that's been a review, and I will be back with more bad movie ASMR soon. So have a good night, and thanks for putting up with my crazy ass after getting off work. I'm gonna go relax now and have a good time. I hope you do the same if you are already relaxed. Just have a good time. Enjoy your life as much as you can. Put on another ASMR video, probably one that's a little more relaxing than mine I would recommend. Bye.